Chapter 17. Off the books. The neighbors complained about the howling, and management knew Buster had started it. Plus, Buster had thrown himself at the fence so many times it was all bent up. So management sent him down to the basement, to the pen next to Metalhead. Management tried anyway, but Buster wouldn't budge. She had to use four volunteers to carry him out. Since my best friend and Buster were both in the basement, I hopped down the stairs to visit every afternoon. Wait, I forgot to tell you how come I got to go wherever I wanted, didn't I? Well, here's the truth. Nobody's going to adopt a three-legged mutt. The way I move all hoppity-hoppity, I'm a pity party, a dog suit, okay? I'm a pity party in a dog suit, okay? Sunbathing on the beach, pet parades, picnics in the park, regular stuff humans might enjoy with their dogs wouldn't be fun with me. Everybody would be asking, what happened to your dog? Why is she missing a leg? So no. But since I was management's lucky charm, I had the run of Dogtown. I didn't take up space because I wasn't assigned a cage, which helped me stay off the list. I was off the books for nearly 7 months, which is 4 years in dog time if you're still using the 1 to 7 year rule. So I headed down to the basement to see Buster and to have dinner with my friend Mouse. Buster spent a lot of time down in the basement, which was really tough on him because pens are really small for dogs with his energy. Want to play ball? Wanna play ball? Buster asked when he saw me. There was a gap in the floor at the bottom of the pen, just enough room to roll the ball underneath. It wasn't much of a game, but he enjoyed it. When we took a break, Buster asked, "What's happening with Geraldine?" I passed the ball back. Been kind of quiet, and that's not good. No. Oh, no. Buster kicked the ball, and it bounced and drooled all over it, and pinged it under the fence. What are we gonna do? I'm working on it, Buster, I said, breathing in Buster's smell, steak bones, hairballs, another scent like silverware just out of the dishwasher. Wait, that's coming from Metalhead's pen next door. I looked over at him. He was busy reading his manual as usual. I walked closer. I liked the smell of silverware out of the dishwasher. It reminded me of home. Ball? Chance? Ball? Buster barked. Sorry, Buster, I said, passing the ball back. I can't play anymore. I've got things to do. One more. One. Buster begged. I hated to disappoint him, but it was time to move on. Metalhead's eyes were on me. How does one get out of here? He asked in a human English. I didn't know if he meant out of his pen, out of the basement, or out of Dogtown. Whatever the question, the answer was complicated. I didn't feel like playing charades, so I shook my head. Metalhead asked again, this time in dog. I did a double take. Nearly lost my kennel rotation. Metal dogs don't know dog. How could they? They were programmed by humans, and humans don't speak dog. How did you learn dog? I asked. I pay attention, and now I wish to know how to leave this place. Oh, that's easy. You get adopted. Metalhead walked up to the fence. No, I mean on my own. Escape? Forget it. No way out of Dogtown. Or wherever, or whatever you are. Oh, sorry. No way out for a dog, or whatever you are. You call me Metalhead, he said. Yeah, I know, I mumbled. I was starting to feel pretty lousy right then. I had been saying things about Metalhead that I had never told him to his face. It didn't occur to me that he understood dog. I learned something important that day. Never say something about a dog you wouldn't want him to hear. I like the monkeyer, said Metalhead. I didn't know if he had burned out his light bulbs or somebody had adjusted his settings, but the blue flashing had to stop. I couldn't look at him without getting a headache. Why do you want to escape? I asked. I want to go home. Now I understand. Every boohoo in Dogtown said, I want to go home at one time or another. They couldn't grasp how their precious pampered selves could have been tossed out. They chose not to remember the half-eaten homework, or the paw prints on the pillow, or the torn tablecloth, the wedding dress missing one sleeve, the fact that they preferred to piddle in the bathroom rug that slipped their minds to. Doggy amnesia, we called it. I told Metalhead what I said to all the boohoos. It's never going to happen. I think you are mistaken, he said. I shook my head. You can't get out of your cage, much less out of the basement. Forget escaping Dogtown. Even if that were possible, you can't walk all the way back to your house. And if by some miracle you manage that, they don't want you back. That's why they left you here. I waited for him to say he had gotten lost. It's the no fault reason they come up with. But Metalhead simply said, I need your assistance. The little guy listens to you. He pointed with his metal nose towards Mouse's house up high in the rafters. I shrugged. I wasn't about to get my best buddy involved in Metalhead's crazy plan. All the boohoos wanted to run away. They got over it. Metalhead would wake up and smell the doggy biscuits, just like every other boohoo before him. And that would be the end of the running away plan. To understand what happened next, you need to know how Mouse and I became friends. I arrived at Dogtown last winter. New snow had fallen, and there was howling wind that bit my fur. Even a husky needed a parka in the bitter cold that we were having. Management took one look at me and tossed me in the cage at the back of the basement. She knew from experience nobody wants a dog with 3 legs. The plan was to wait long enough until enough time went by they could put me on the list. I didn't know that then. I had no idea there was such a list. But I know now. Like every other newcomer to Dogtown, my heart was broken. I missed curling up in the furry blanket at the foot of Jessie's bed. I missed the jingle of my leash and the squeak of the school bus door when Jessie came home. I missed pepperoni pizza, pulled pork, chasing pigeons in the park. But I mostly missed Jessie and Professor Besser. I slept during the day and stared out the tiny basement window at night. I memorized the stars and grew familiar with the train whistles. I could tell the time of day by the sounds of its toots. Dogtown had heat, only it didn't work very well in the basement. It felt like minus 25. My kibbles were popsicles. My water bowl had ice over it. The cement floor was an ice skating rink. So I did what dogs all over the world do when they are unhappy. I barked. But all I got for my trouble was a sore throat. Those were terrible days. Worse than the cold was the loneliness. I woke up hearing my little Jessie calling my name. I imagined her so clearly. Jessie with fuzzy pigtails and a smile so radiant that every dog in the park ran to her. I pined for Jessie's mother, Professor Besser. I ached to have my belly rubbed, for my fur stroked, my left ear massaged in that special way. Even when management came by, it was only for a moment or two, with hundreds of dogs to care for and nowhere near enough help. They could barely keep up with the basics: food, water, cage cleaning. Now and then they'd pat me on the head and rub my belly. Too many belly rubs. Not enough minutes in the day. But a belly rub, too many belly rubs, not enough minutes in the day. I wonder if I had enough kibble. Did I skip a page? I wonder if I had enough kibble left in my bowl to write a note. Spelling was never my strong suit. My grammar is not so hot either. In human, anyway, I'm fluent in dog. I moved the kibble around until I saw my message, but then the wind gusted down the corridor and blew the pellets that read, "I need to be pitted." I ran into a few dogs at Dogtown who had done time in other shelters. They claimed Dogtown wasn't half as bad compared to those places, mostly because there were so many volunteers who helped out. The volunteers were all right. I mean, what kind of person volunteers to pick up poop? You could smell the kindness on those people. Also, the dog poop. Management, she was doing the best she could, but she was outnumbered. There are a lot of unwanted dogs in the world, it seems. Supper time was the worst. I've always eaten my supper with the Besters in the TV room. I wasn't used to eating alone. I missed the blueberry pancake smell of Jessie and the toasted almonds and manila folder smell of Professor Besser. That was back when I'd given up hope to see Jessie and Professor Besser ever again. Back then, every footstep sounded like theirs. Every person looked like them. Every time the basement door opened, I was sure it was them. Mostly, I wanted to hear the whistle of the train. Mostly what I heard was the whistle of the train and the clanking of the railroad crossing gates. I looked out at the long row of empty cages. I breathed the bitter air of ammonia and loneliness. I did all the usual things to keep myself occupied. I scratched my ears, gnawed my paws, cleaned my private parts. I dreamed of my bowl at the Besters full of dumplings, dippings, hamburgers, bacon, chicken bites, and big chunks of chili beef. Dogtown kibble tasted like tree bark. I couldn't eat it. I had just begun chewing on the chain link when a small brown mouse made a dash for my dish. I jumped. My hackles raised, but at the last second, I held my growl. It had been such a long time since I had been near another creature. I suddenly realized I was happy to share the contents of my kibble bowl. What was the harm? Mouse lived in a safe little hideaway above cage 91. Management didn't know about Mouse's house because she didn't like scalping down to the basement any more than anybody else did. Mouse wasn't jumpy the way most mice are. He was exceptionally intelligent. He knew how to read. He was trilingual. Mouse, human, dog. Besides that, he was crafty. He could get anywhere in Dogtown without being seen. At night, I watched him set about the busyness of rolling kibbles across the cement floor to the back of the pen. One by one, He'd take them in his mouth and climb the chain link fence knot hole in the corner and disappear inside. A minute later, he'd appear again and scramble down, retrieve another kibble, and climb back up. He made 5 trips. He nodded his thanks and disappeared into the knot hole. I hadn't eaten much since I had arrived at Dogtown, but seeing another creature interested in my dinner made me hungry. I finished all of my kibble that night. Mouse was so small, I figured 5 kibble bits would last the better part of the week. But the next day he was back. That's when I figured out he was feeding a whole lot of mice up there. I looked forward to Mouse's visits. Every day I would wait for him to come down, take his 5 kibbles, nod his thank you, and every evening his visits gave me back my appetite. It doesn't sound like much, but Mouse, the train, whistles, and the stars at night got me through the long winter in Dogtown. Spring is puppy whelping season. That means a lot of puppies are born in Dogtown or dropped off in wooden crates or cardboard boxes. Puppies can't be adopted until they are 8 weeks old, so new dog moms are assigned to the basement. Soon puppies' yips and yaps and whines and whimpers ring through the air. We had a litter of peekapoos, pugapoos, cockapoos, and havapoos. And yet more came. What would management do with all those dogs? Then Buster had another bounce back. I can't remember if it was the time he chewed the teacher's grade book or he ate an entire wedding cake. Maybe it was when he peed on the heater vent and the whole house smelled like the side of a fire hydrant all winter long. Anywho, Buster was back and explain the list to me. Ever wonder what happens to the dogs who don't get adopted? He asked. What was he talking about? Dogs that didn't get adopted just stayed in Dogtown, didn't they? But when I looked over at him, he was doing a trick I'd never seen him do before. He was playing dead. That's when I began to put the pieces together, the pieces of the milk bone together. I mentioned that management liked to play poker, but I don't think I told you how serious they were about it. Every Wednesday after work, all the Dogtown humans sat in the back room with their heads hunched over their cards. There was a big stack of poker chips, pizza, pretzels, potato chips piled around. So there I was, thinking I'd been in Dogtown too long. Management had me on the list. I was headed for the great dog park in the sky when something strange happened. The 3 of hearts showed up on my cage. The card was stuck to the chain link fence. When management saw it, she came thundering down to my pen, followed by a front desk and 3 volunteers. No one could figure out how the 3 of hearts got there from the back room to the basement or why it was there. On Tuesday, the 3 of spades appeared in the same place the 3 of hearts had been. On Wednesday, there was the 3 of diamonds. By then, there was a real hullabaloo. Front desk's girlfriend, management's husband, and a bunch of volunteers and their kids came to see me. Look at her, said the volunteer who smelled like bananas. She's posing by the cards. Okay, that was true. Who doesn't like to feel special? Front desk's girlfriend rolled her eyes. You do know it's not possible for a dog to open her cage pen, to go to the back room, get a deck of cards, and find all the threes, and stick them on the fence, right? Let us have our fun, front desk whispered. Front desk girlfriend snorted. You guys are out of your minds. Don't you believe in luck? A tall volunteer with peanut butter breath asked. Front desk girlfriend shook her head. This is nothing to do with luck. Well, I could use some luck, the front desk announced. I have an idea. We could give Chance the run of the place and spread the luck around. A little girl stuck her sticky fingers through the fence and I cleaned them off. Everyone could get a lucky lick, she said. Peanut Butter Breath opened the pen, so I came out. Friendliest dog here. I thought it was just me she liked, said another volunteer when I nuzzled her. Peanut Butter Breath squatted down and petted me. She's a genius. She makes everyone feel like her favorite. You can't let her have the run of the place, management said. She'll run away. Have you seen her move? She's not going anywhere, said front desk. Management ran her hand over my head. I suppose we could give it a try. But poker night, she sits with me. So that's how I got the run of the place. A home under the poker table. Lucky for them, lucky for me. There isn't a dog in the world that doesn't have a little watchdog in her. I'm no exception. So yes, I know how the cards appears in the chain link, which is why every supper I hopped down the stairs to the basement with my mouth full of kibble for Mouse. Here's another thing humans are sadly misguided about. Luck is not a winning hand of cards. Luck is making a new friend. All the dogs are bilingual. We understand the language humans speak and our dog language. Mouse, as I mentioned, is trilingual, but without a proper voice box required for speech. Mouth uses sign language to communicate his thoughts. Mouth learned of all this growing up in Dogtown. Metalhead didn't grow up in Dogtown, or anywhere else for that matter. Metal dogs don't get older or wiser. One day you plug them in, and that's it. So how come Metalhead spoke dog? He had said it was because he paid attention, but I didn't see how Metal Dog could learn the way we do. And if they could, then are we in big trouble? If metal dogs became more real, then where would that leave us? Chapter 30. Let's stop there today.